You're up and running.
Concerning hobbles.
Okay. Oh, let's kick off. Back into the node mines. Do I want to keep doing physics? Let's eat our vegetables first. Do some more asset management. And then we can do physics. So, asset browser.
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill. In Bag End. There always will be.
Dihedral angle. That needs to go into just utilities. Vector angle. Goes into utilities.
Welcome to Riverwood,
Okay.
Frodo Baggins.
And we want to index. Utilities.
Whom do you serve?
This one. Group. Yeah, cool. Smoother, linear. This one. Oh dang, he's in the early hours. Yeah man, I got things to do today. And it mostly involves nodes. So I figure why not? 12-hour monster stream. Uh-oh. Yes, hopefully more DNA today. But I'm eating my vegetables first by organizing assets for a little bit and then continuing on with that DNA. Okay, it crashed. I got lost. Where was I? Fractionate. Charity stream, simulating a whole cell from scratch and the molecular notes. Look, let's do it. Why not? Expanded. Mark as asset. Okay. Why is my... Okay, that's in there. We can now get rid of that. Fraction smoother. Delete. I think it would be fun to do to try and do some kind of pathway stuff with the simulation nodes. Like, because I have seen previously from Janet Iwasa's lab, they had some animations showing pathways, and it was like particle systems going like here to here, and like 10% of them went to here, and that gives you like this product, and that goes here, and like that should be very doable. And they're like actual particles, and then we can put in like actual molecules. That should be very doable with simulation nodes. Markers asset. Okay, rotation from Z by Z. Markers asset. This one's gonna go also, I suppose, to that still. Centroid we don't really need anymore. It will be, where is it used? Center on selection. Although, keep feeling like it's possible to use simulation to fake bloke stress granules and other condensates too. Oh yes, yeah. Like liquid-liquid phase separation. Yeah, I think it would be we'd be able to do it better if we had once we get a list output from this, because currently we can only sample the single closest point. But once we get nth closest points and we can sample, then we can properly get this sort of condensation happening. But I might play around with that in a little bit once I'm done eating my vegetables.
Desire power.
Field me. I can never remember what this gosh darn node is called. I'm actually gonna leave that. Vector from point. Mix position. Hello Dinesh, what's the Linux distro you are using? CachyOS. It's like a more friendly version of Arch. I mean, it's built on Arch, but it's I've been using it for a few months. I'm really enjoying it. Everything works pretty much out of the box. Very little config required. Like, I know people love Arch and stuff because they want to endlessly configure and stuff, but I'm not interested in that. I just want a nice clean OS that works reliably and quickly. A nanometer to world we no longer need because meter is nanometer. Love to see it. Nanometer to world. Yeah. Delete. Yeah, I didn't, like, there's a whole bunch of nice, this is with using, you can choose a bunch of UIs. This is with KDE Plasma, which is really nice, which you can actually get on other distros as well. So you don't have to have Kashi to get this aesthetic, but I'm enjoying Kashi and I'm enjoying the aesthetic. Between. Transform from object. I mean, I'm not using it anywhere, so I don't think that's that useful. So that's still used somewhere. Let's turn that to dot, prefix at least. Okay. Character to integer, string remove, string count. And I don't need this anymore because we now have all the built-in string nodes. String to integer. String count. Okay, this is going to come over here. Okay, this is going to be a new cat. Cool. Markers asset, markers asset, markers asset, markers asset. It's going to go into ensemble. Okay, so for that, we'll want okay, that's knocking that out. That's updating the utilities. That's all assets now. love to see it. These ones gotta go over here. Thanks for helping, mate. Otherwise, I would have downloaded Linux Mint Windows. Yeah, look, I rebuilt this. Yeah, I built this computer September last year, October last year, and I was just like, if at all possible, I'm just never going to install Windows on this machine. And so originally I was using Pop OS. I tried Mint, I tried Pop. They were okay, but there was a bunch of stuff that I didn't like the look of and didn't quite work how I wanted. And now now it's all working much better. So yeah, I'm really, really liking Kashi. So hopefully it works well for you. Okay, so let's put these. It's literally just 2 radians, 2 radians, 2 radians, phi theta psi. Phi theta psi, 2 radians, 2 radians, 2 radians. Okay. I feel like this. Could be a menu switch. And also Starfile instances, I think we want to turn into just one. Arrange. Okay, I'll have to come back to these, I think. Let's do up here. Already got some. Group sort. That's a single value. This goes into geometry. Geometry. Contains geometry. Fallback geometry. Plexus. Geometry. Plexus. We can update, but we'll leave that for now. Check geometry. Geometry. Why do I have? Okay. convert. Vector and angstroms. It's really good to hear, by the way. What's the specs of the computer you're using? I'm not sure. PC part picker. If I actually put it in here. This is what I did. So ended up being a bit pricey, but it was still but I use it for work, so gotta spend the money. You can pause and look at that if you want. No, that was in Great British Pounds, which basically means double that for Australian dollar it is. So it was Spenno. Yeah. Not cheap. But like I said, I use it for work, so I spend the money. We want to clear asset, clear asset, clear asset, clear asset. Select from string, select from string, we can get rid of that. Asset, mark as asset. Color. Cool. So terrible, it's such a big menu. Clear asset. We want to yeah, I mean, it ends up being, yeah, a heck of an investment. Well, you hope so at least. But yeah, it pays for itself in being able to get work done that I need to get work done. Okay, left color, markers asset, color. Fields. So is there anything here that is not marked as an asset? Now, OK Lab. Okay.
The Lonely Mountain.
This can go into utilities, color, markers asset, markers asset, markers asset. Clear asset, markers asset, markers asset, and then all OK Lab. Let's go into color. Okay. OK Lab matrices we don't want to mark as an asset. Thanks for the help, mate. See you soon. Gotta go now. Already pressed like to your stream. Thanks, man. See you later. Name, get rid of that. This is converter. No, I suppose it's color. Yeah. So we call this random color. Be idea index. Cool. Okay, lab luminance. Okay, lab chroma. Color space to color space. Okay, so our top two need to go down to add panel. hobbits. Alright, that's that. Random color goes into color. Okay. That is enough eating of vegetables for now.
There's always been a Baggins.
Asset categorization.
In Baggin. There always will be.
Okay, now we can get onto the fun stuff. Doing some simulations. Okay, what do we want to do with this? So what is happening? Doing tubes. Got our rotation. Visualizing our curve.
Welcome to Rivendell, Frodo Baggins.
Okay, what we want to do is we want to reverse one of these curves because currently they're the same. That goes them out. And we are offsetting the DNA like this. But for the sequence, we need to capture it before we okay, that's our sequence working correctly. So, really we want that sort of around like that. that's blue going both ways. Okay, so we are definitely reversed. We just need both of them to rotate a bit. Okay, we're cooking. So these ones we want to be offset rotation. Yo, it's your boy Quackers. What up? We making DNA. Except we're making our own DNA. Trying to use the new XPBD simulator for my own dastardly purposes. Yeah, it certainly does jiggle. That's not working quite how we want it to. Okay, let's undo all of that. So Lo-fi beats to node /study/chill to, you know it. Oh, message retracted. Okay. So these bases we need to, which is the curve or reversing, we need to move them like that way by one base. Lo-fi beats to molecular model to precisely. And so to do that, so we subdivide, we duplicate, position, sample curve. This one we need to sample. We are sampling our normal, we set position, and we set curve normal. Free by sampling that normal. Position normal. And this oh yeah, there is a nodes module meeting. I don't know. I'm not currently working on anything, I don't think. It might still be good. Although there's not even an overview from last meeting to confirm when the next meeting will be. But I could still jump off and join if there is going to be one. Alright, set position. Set curve normal. And okay, so we need to sample from the factor. And the factor is points factor index and spline parameter. No, spline info, curve info. No, curve parameter. Oh my god. Length. There we go. Spline length. God, I wish I could remember that. Divide. Okay, so we get our index in the curve, and we add one. No, we add 0. We subtract 1. That gives us our factor that we can then adjust. Add. Factor. Curve of point.
9 rings were gifted to the race of men.
Yeah, there we go. Now we get a nice smooth offset.
Desire.
Cool. 0. Input. And we want to capture that original factor. Output that factor. The pre-offset factor for the curve's point. Offset. Offset value in points. Number of points to offset and sample position and normal by. Fractions sample between the points along the curve. Offset curve. Ah, gorgeous. Works even better than I would have thought. Okay. So we want to switch, and one we offset slightly. Orange, okay, that's working pretty well. And we need to adjust our to rotate. We're making DNA. Okay. What happens if we just scoot that all the way along? Okay, that is good to know. That works flawlessly. We want geometry, Marcus asset. Yeah, it's very smooth. Buttery smooth. That was way better than I was expecting. And if we chuck this, what happens with this? Oh. Why did that? That is the dream, is that we make molecules so mesmerizing that people learn about them through osmosis. There's pretty much Clockwork's MO. Okay, I don't like that does something without me telling it to do something. So let's fix that. offset is 0. Why is that doing something? I am... Our index is 0. Just, you don't need to read up on it. I mean, do read up on it, you know, learn all about it. Watch all my previous streams, obviously. But, you know, you can just be mesmerized. Okay, so if I turn that off... index to factor. Why does this still do something? Okay, I sample the position in normal, and then I set the position in normal. Spline parameter. This should be each control point's index on a spline. Point count. You have the total length of each spline as a distance, or as a distance, or as a as a distance, or as a number of points. This is the number of points.
Glad you're with me.
Why is this changing something that should change nothing? Not. Oh no, I am sampling something from over here. Okay. But that's sampling nothing because that's in index 0. So it's sampling single values. Our index to factor is now a... Okay, let's do our own then. That range. Subtract 1. Okay, smooth again. Love to see it. But it shouldn't be changing anything at all, ideally, when it's at 0. We're sampling from this curve. And ideally this just works out to be the factor. So Quackers, help me. Ideally, this setup shouldn't change the curve at all. Because this should just give the factor of a point. Which we don't have an input node for. Although I suppose that can just be a node group with exactly this setup.
Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
But we have clamping from 0 to the point count -1, so which will be the maximum index. How far along the control point? Are these the same thing? They should just be the same thing. Why do we have two nodes that read exactly the same thing? Okay, I'll figure out why that's doing something later. But that's sending... So turning it on brings this that way by almost a base. So if we I don't know. Why is there a wibbly wobbliness to that? Let's go the other way. Okay, so they moved apart too far. Move out to there.
The Lonely Mansion.
Okay, we're getting closer now. Um, don't understand why that's doing that. Why is rotating that moving the bases along? Can you explain what he is doing? I am making DNA in geometry nodes. I'm rebuilding the molecular nodes add-on for Blender, and in the process we're doing a bunch of experimentation. One of those things being trying to simulate or come up with some fun little simulations with DNA. Why does that fail in such weird ways? Why has that gone single-stranded? Can I develop a biological weapon? No, definitely not. This is purely for educational purposes, and nor could anyone else using this. Why is that so weird? I'm rotating the normal around the tangent. Okay, let's, instead of that, let's set rotation. Tilt. Then it's useless. That's your opinion, and you're certainly welcome to it. But I think teaching people about molecular biology is very useful. Okay, and now we need to capture a normal capture. Okay, we get that same thing. And if we don't do that, okay, what do our bases even look like? I get the feeling they're going to be a mess. Brady Senpai money. Not really sure what you mean by that, but sure.
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill.
Okay, so if we...
Big Baggin. There always will be.
Is high-end PC required for Blender? Nope, it runs on quite low-end computers. You can get away with quite a lot. Obviously, you're gonna have an easier time the better your computer is, but okay. We want this to be a tool. Scale radii. Yeah, mate, sure am. From Perth.
Welcome to Rivendell, Frodo Baggins.
Okay, so this copy modifiers, apply. Okay, why did that do nothing? There we go. I speak very good English. Cheers, Cobber. Modifier. it true you guys say g'day, mate? Yeah, mate. I'm saying g'day all the time. It's the best little greeting. Okay, so we want our rotation. Tangent on the Z. Oh. Let's go with these. RX90. And then do I want that on the normal on the Z90. All their transforms are applied. Looking good. Do you guys marry kangaroos? You know, only if we're desperate. Okay. Now we just... Okay, so we want our normal to be that normal. Which puts it all the way out there, which brings it in there. And then we just need to adjust a bit. Okay. So the normal goes straight out. If the normal is going straight out, we want it to align straight back in, which should just be the inverse. So if we literally just negate invert rotation, that does not. If we scale -1, that brings it in. Actually, if we don't do that, and yeah, no, we do that. And we offset slightly. I don't understand why that fails. It's the same thing.
Fly, you fools.
Factor. Why? Oh, I know why that. Because we want. That we want to scale. And that we go there, that goes there. Okay, that did not at all work out how I thought it would. Why won't you properly Oh, that needs to be normal, that's why. Okay, that's working better. Why is this such a mess? Do you play video games? Is math related to molecular biology? I mean, you need lots of math to compute stuff in molecular biology, certainly. It's very, very handy. What is going on?
Race of men who, above all else, desire power.
I might just... What is going on? Okay, so we need to figure out what the heck is going on with that. This moves around. Okay, so that's not stable. Position. Subtract. Rotation, normal position, normal position. 811. Hi Brady, high school teacher from Denmark here. Thank you for Molecular Nodes. I've been using it to make videos for my students. That's awesome. I'm really glad you're able to be using it for teaching like that. If you, I'd love to see them if they were shared at all publicly, but if obviously you don't have to. But yeah, I'm really glad that it's being useful for you. That's exactly the sort of use case that I wanted to make sure is available to people. Hopefully the updated version I'm working on makes things even easier. That's the plan, at least. I really can't figure this out. What's going on?
Going to Mordor alone. Of course you are. And I'm coming with you.
Why is there normal all over the place? I'm explicitly setting it. Reverse curve, set curve tilt. Setting the position. And if we literally just capture that, we don't need that. We can just say scale -1. That position isn't on points. Why is this not working? Okay, if we don't set the curve normal, what happens? As you'd expect, it's sort of all over the place. If we set the curve normal to just one thing, you mentioned in you mentioned in an earlier video that you hope to implement a function to import specific DNA sequences. Is that by any chance part of what you were working on here? Basically, yes. go string field to list. Index and 1. Get bundle item. Combine bundle. Integer. If we go A, G, C, and T. 0, 1, 2, 3. Actually, if we instead go compare. Switch. If it is A, it is that. Otherwise, if it is B, C, then it is 1. If it is G, it is 2. If it is T, it is 3. And that's our list. Actually, we don't even need a list for that. Sequence index.
Done. Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
And that should plug into here. Oh, why doesn't that plug into there? That plugs into here. And that plugs into there. There we go. ACGT. AAAA. Yeah. TAA. TTA. Do a Tata box. And then we can input our custom sequences. So yes, that will be part of it. Basically, I'm overhauling the entire system to make a bunch of stuff easier, one of which will be custom sequences, now that we have string fields. For now, that shall remain random though. Sequence to ID. Curve normals on deforming curves, one of my least favorite things to resolve. Yeah, I'm in the trenches right now, trying to figure this out. I know I've had problems like this before that I have resolved, but I'm like, oh, it's slightly different, and I don't really remember how I resolved them. And I think it's partially because the curve normal is delayed in its evaluation. Like, it doesn't exist on the curve until you actually evaluate it. And the curve tilt, I think. Okay, yeah, let's get rid of that tilt, because I think the tilt might affect it. Axis angle to rotation. Tangent. Rotate vector. So if we rotate a straight up normal vector, still doesn't quite solve it. Oh, hang on. Oh, that does solve the normal problem. Oh my god. Okay, so stay the heck away from curve tilt. I think that was my issue that I'd run into previously, is curve tilt is just like an amount to turn the normal by at some point when you read the normal. Which is really frustrating, because then if you adjust your normal manually, the curve tilt still adjusts your... Anyway. Oh. Okay, so we stay the heck away from curve tilt, and we just manually control our normals. Brilliant. Really looking forward to it. I'm glad. I look forward to seeing what people make with it. Okay. That's one issue resolved. Our curve normals. Oh my god, and it looks so much better. Let's go with a red. Okay, so now okay, so now beautiful. Don't need to negate that normal. Oh my god, it's finally all coming together.
The lonely mountain.
So let's make that more of a yellow. So green and yellow, our blue, and let's make it purple. Boom, boom. Yes, it is a great playlist. Love me some Lord of the Rings lo-fi. Okay, so undo that, and this ends up like here. Okay, finally that's starting to look like it's meant to. And that's offset by 1. stream. Minus 1.45. Oh, minus 1.45. I have not seen Project Hail Mary yet. I want to read the book first, and I haven't gotten around to reading the book. But it's supposed to be quite good. So I'm excited to both read the book and eventually see the movie. Oh, why is this? Why is this? Do you think that someone with high skills in VFX and CGI, but not much in biology, could potentially work with medical pharma companies by making presentations? I mean, that's exactly what I do. So I work with biotech and pharmaceutical companies making stuff for them. There's definitely lots of demand for it. You're at a significant, you're at a significant disadvantage in that having biological knowledge is sort of the thing that's really required, because if you're on a call with a client and they're trying to explain something to you, you really need to know what's going on. And the reason why there's a whole field of medical and scientific illustration, and the reason this field exists is because it saves, rather than a regular animator, if you have an animator who also has a PhD in biochemistry or similar, then you don't need to waste time explaining stuff to them. They speak the same language already. It doesn't mean you can't, but it means that it's much harder, basically.
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill. In Baggin. There always will be.
Okay, let's... Means I would need to study biology a lot more. That is correct. You would need to study biology a lot more. But I mean, it's like if it's what you want to do, it's what you got to do, basically. But it's not really a necessity if you don't want to do it. I just can't get this to line up nicely. There you go, we got someone else in the chat who does exactly that. So I work for a medical animation company and I have only a basic understanding of molecular biology. My colleagues give info when needed, or I can research specific subjects. Yeah, so I mean, it makes it easier. If you're trying to like freelance, then it would make it very difficult because you're kind of on your own, and freelancing is what I do. So you kind of need to have the knowledge and also the VFX skills. But yeah, I know there are companies out there with teams of people, and usually, like, the sort of VFX people won't necessarily have training. So, good to hear from Caustic FO. Alright, I think that's looking pretty crisp now. But also it's totally failing in points. So something about my approach is entirely wrong. God. This is the thing with like doing these kind of nodes. It's just like there's so much little fiddly stuff, and then in some weird situation where you haven't accounted for it, it's just not going to work out how you want it to. Like, look at this. It's just like I've just spent all that time and this moves a tiny bit and it just all totally balks itself. Like, what is happening there? I don't know. And I don't know if I could be bothered figuring. I mean, I'll have to figure it out eventually, but okay, well, let's do some debugging. Okay, what's this weird little section here? Okay, does that solve that weird little section? Oh my god, that does. I can't believe I've been looking at that weird little section for so long, and it's as simple as that. Oh no, my lo-fi playlist has run out. Time to restart. Yeah, so I mean, look, it sounds like there's probably someone else in the chat who'll know more about that, but if you have if your team is like specializing in various things, then having one person who's really good at it won't necessarily need to know the other components. Okay, maybe that's working a bit better now. Kind of working better, but it just still totally cooks itself. It's always going to be advantage to developing domain knowledge. Perfect thing. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not going to be disadvantaged by learning biology, certainly. If that's what you want to work in, it will only be an advantage. Why does this not work? Okay, so it's like number of seems to do with the number of points. So if we okay, so it was to do with number of points. but I don't think that should matter. What the heck?
Welcome to Rivendell, Frodo Baggins.
Oh. I will BRB. I'll just let this play out for a little bit. Okay, it's had a delivery. We're back. So it's stable with the. Okay, that's cooked it. Oh, we want to rotate the normal. Oh my god, is that... That's fixed some of it. That's fixed my access issues. Some of my access issues. Okay, because that... Rotation. Okay, so let's instead rotate rotation. Rotation. Why is that? That looks kind of creepy. Like a couple of snakes sliding past each other. I don't know if Caustic Foe, I don't know if you can say which company you work for, but I'd love to find out. And I'd love to know if you guys are using molecular nodes, or you just love geometry nodes and you're just hanging out. What is going on? Okay, so my normals are not stable. Imperfect link, we're all here for the geonodes. The one great uniting force. So these bloody curve normals. So what I'm trying now, basically, is like, I would have thought that these hair dynamics would stretch, bend, twist, constraint. Okay, that makes it. So when it goes on axis, we get that flipping of the normal. But that is working now, is it? Yeah, okay, so that curve normal is stable now, which is what we want, because we don't want our curve to be a little bit stable. We don't pin the rotation. Oh, that's so gross. What is happening? If we instead just look at these normals, and better yet, we unsubdivide. So this is what's actually simulating. So we are pinning. Okay, so we are keeping that rotation steady. Oh, it's a very small company, under 10 employees. I've only used it for creating basic molecule surfaces and ball and stick models in the last few months, but hoping to utilize it more going forward. Well, I'm glad it's proving useful for you guys. Hopefully I can update it, and yeah, it's going to be even more useful. Why is that so jittery? If we Angular damping. I'll crank that up like crazy. How do you get it to spin? Is it this imported from Chimera X? Hello, Anthony. No, this is all pure Blender. There's no Chimera X involved. This uses molecular nodes to import the data. Which is a plugin for Blender. And then, so we don't even need to involve Chimera X or Pymol or anything. We can just import the data directly. So, okay, this curve seems stable. Why is that secondary one so not stable? That's looking a bit better. It's looking much better, but we're still running into issues. That one, I feel like this one base here is jittering, and that is causing that entire strand to jitter.
To the race of men who, above all else, desire power.
Okay, we're accumulating. That should not be happening. What is going on? don't reverse that, does that stop this? Okay, it totally stops it. So the reversing of the curve fucks that up. Okay, what if we instead all the way up here we reverse the curve? Oh my god, does that solve it? It totally solves it. Oh my god. Because we were... So the issue was we were accumulating rotation in a different direction along the curve, which ultimately ended up in a slightly different rotation, like net rotation for the chain. Oh, that took too long to figure out. Okay, yeah, so it's literally, we just want to reverse the curve. Yeah. Okay. That's that issue mostly dealt with. If we turn this dampening down. Okay, and it's stable, and we're looking good, and nothing's exploding. Ah, you ever seen DNA so crisp? Oh, do you have any tips on Blender animation for microbiology? We have to take out a section of something and like zoom into it. I mean, a section of something is a very vague term. So something could literally be a microbe, a protein, a pipette. Like, I'm not sure what you really mean there. Look at that polymerase go. Chugging along that DNA. Alright. So... I mean, use molecular nodes. Is all I can say. So like if we... So if we look at, say, this protein, currently we're selecting a chain or something, or we can select particular residues if you're wanting to like select a section of a protein, that sort of thing. So this is why I've built this tool for exactly this kind of thing. So with that, yeah, knowing more about exactly what you're working on, that's the best I can sort of suggest. Imperfect Link, amazing job. Oh, good job. Thank you. Oh my god, Quackaroony, you the entire time you were gone, I was trying to figure out curve normals of this deformed curve, because it just, oh my god, it was not working. And the issue was I was reversing the curve before I adjusted the normals. And because I'm using an accumulate field to adjust the curve normals, I was then accumulating along different directions on the curve, and so like 70% of the time it would work, but then different orientations it would just not work and just like balk itself. But now if I adjust the normals and then reverse the curve, it just works perfectly. So it was literally just one node that I needed to change, and I spent like an hour on it. Anyway, how was the module meeting? Is anything exciting happening? Yeah, the good thing is now we have some crisp looking DNA. More physics stuff, mainly on extending the solver and also the plan to do fluids. Oh, exciting. What sort of physics stuff? Maybe indices of nearest, perchance? Please, mister. Okay. Alright, now we can work on this without utterly wasting my time. So we get our deep bases. Well, welcome to the physics stream. You've come to the right place then, quackers. Okay. So this we want to go negative by a little bit. Basically just that. Is that too extreme? That's too extreme. I feel like it's more like I should probably be modeling this on. We do have this one. Okay, so this is what we want it to look like. Not hydrogen. We want that and okay, so this is an actual DNA. This is an actual structure. So this is what we want it to look like. Yeah, so we want a bit bigger of a minor groove. Cool. Some new volume nodes from Lucas. Yeah, they're looking very cool for activating and deactivating voxels. I was going to try and do something along those lines, but I think those ones were beyond my skills, especially the voxelized point, not voxelized, rasterized points node that he's working on with all the different rasterization kernels required. Like, that's some pretty advanced stuff. My humble contribution was suggesting we get a clamp vector int vector. Yeah, that would be great. Actually, while you're here, do you know why we don't have a... Well,
Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
like, we don't have a curve input that reads the factor. Oh no, we do. What am I talking about? Like, don't even listen to me. I just had it hidden. I was like, why don't we have factor? But it's because I hid it. Alright, I'm gonna stop hiding nodes. Okay. So our backbone's looking solid. Now we just need to adjust our rotation to get our bases lining up. Yeah, I had myself convinced there as well. I was like, oh my god, this is such a simple node. I'll be able to add it. No worries. Okay. So I think we literally just... We're a bit thicker, so if we scale this... What the heck? Why is that? Oh, that's distance. Now we just have to make these bases kiss. So if this is down to, let's say 8.5, that looks, oh, I'm going to say slightly thin. Let's go 9. Oh, what? My backbone is all wrong. If we go... If I sample that... Yeah, okay. That's not going to solve it. Our bases. Get this cube out of the way. I should push for object custom props reading in GeoNodes. I haven't had success so far convincing anyone. We have them in material nodes and they are so useful. Yeah, I think the plan, well, the potential, because now we have bundle, we have get geometry bundle, and there's talk about if we have like, you could basically then access arbitrary props here. I know there was talk about it. But yes, I would also love access to arbitrary Python properties. Or arbitrary object properties. What the? Do I just have terrible bases? Should I steal the bases from this instead? Because they seem much cleaner.
Lonely mountain.
Do I need to? Can I just reverse that? What is the configuration of your fast computer for using Blender? Blender. I did pop this up earlier. This is my PC parts list if you want to pause or go back to it. But I also use like an M2 MacBook Pro a lot of the time. So Blender is pretty optimized to run a lot of stuff. Oh, hello. I've got someone else. Hello, I'm a molecular biologist. And always hope to make it more visual for easier scientific communication and public understanding. Look, that's why I started doing what I do, because I too wanted to do that. Though I still find it challenging and cannot completely create what I imagine, I always find your contribution on visual biology so inspiring. I just want to genuinely thank you for creating molecular nodes and making it accessible and understandable. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. That's very kind. That's a very kind thing to say. And yeah, I was always frustrated and wanted to just make beautiful visuals to try and explain stuff. And that's what got me motivated to start creating it. Quackerini Krazin 2.8K. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it's certainly not a cheap computer, but I use it for, it pays the bills. So it's definitely paid for itself many times over. So it's worth the investment. But it was certainly a significant investment in the beginning, but what have I done? So that goes back in on itself. Yeah, okay. I think I'm using bad DNA bases. Or maybe I've like selected them wrong. Okay, let's grab some bases from this. We're going to make our own node group. Select res. Style spheres. we want our DNA AGCT. Cool. Does that mean that's RNA? Oh, that's exciting. So there's our DNA. And this gives us hydrogens as well, which is probably useful. So that is just that flipped. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to separate group. Separate geometry. Select chain. Okay, cool. So that's all on our first chain, apparently. Okay, why? Weird.
There's always been a Baggins
Okay, that separates that.
living here under the hill.
So we got an A, we got a C, we got a G, we got a T. We got them all. So we only need the one chain.
Always will be.
And then we just want the first of each. Accumulate field. Subgroup info. Residue ID and residue name. Index of first. Compare.
Welcome to
Where's
Rivendell,
ID?
Frodo Baggins.
Where's my residue name? Does this not have name? Residue name. -1. Okay, 41. Yeah, cool. Okay, so why does this not work? Three. So for each residue, God, why is this so hard? Let's instead so we're going 13. And we are going 15. God, this is laborious. 19. Hooray. Okay, so we've got our 4 DNA bases. And so set position, residue mask. So we want our group pick vector. Accumulate field. Integer. Residue ID. So this should give okay, so our phosphate is first. Equal total. Not line rotation to vector.
Whom do you serve?
Oh, actually, if we just instead get the last scale. That puts them all in the same spot. And then we do transform point. This is a mess. What's going on? Yeah, this looks interesting. Is this an animation software? This is Blender. The animation software, in fact. I'm doing molecular biology with it. Okay, masks. Menu residue. A plugin for molecules, exactly. Molecular nodes. A plugin for molecular data inside of Blender. Oxygen. Now we're cooking. Not that oxygen. That oxygen. And we want the phosphate. I study molecular biology and used PyMol, but would love to make videos using some animation, but Blender seems hard to get started with. Well, have a look at my channel. I've got some tutorials on how to get started with molecular nodes and how to get started with Blender. How do you animate a specific piece of lipoprotein? Because when I try to animate it, it doesn't show. I can't really help you with those kinds of questions because I don't really know what you're asking. It's a very vague question. There is, if you go to the molecular nodes GitHub page and the documentation, there is documentation, and which includes a link to a Discord server, and people can help you there. So if you are trying to get help, that's the place to go. But that's a relatively vague question, so I can't really help, unfortunately. Is there a lot more work to do to get ready for Blender 5.2? How far are you through? That's a great question. There's definitely a lot more. I think most of the styles and stuff, like most of the general nodes, are pretty good to go. Like I've gone through and updated the style nodes. I think they're good. I'm trying to update the DNA stuff at the moment, but I can also just update the DNA stuff after the fact. But the majority of what needs to change is in the Python API. Like, I want to rewrite a whole bunch of code for it. But I can't do that until I finish some other code stuff. So that's all happening slowly. I should, I think, have it ready for when Blender 5.2 comes out. That's what I'm sort of working towards, is the idea. Okay, so now we go Oxygen 1. Convert. Why isn't this working as I expected it to? Okay, that's not working.
9 rings were gifted to the race of men who, above all else, desire power.
Might have to go now. Got to work on some things. See ya, quackers. Have a good one. You're going to hate the question, but if I learn it, is Gemini or Claude good at helping with the coding? Kind of. And kind of not. Like, I mean, if you're using Blender like this, then you don't need any coding. And also, LLMs are terrible at working and animating in 3D, so you're not going to have much luck there. If you're talking about the Python API, they seem to be okay with it, but again, they run into a lot of issues because they don't really think in 3D very well. Okay, that looks like what we're after. I'm trying to make some better. I'm trying to reuse the DNA bases from here for my procedural DNA, because I think the bases I have are not very good. They're not currently animating how I want them to. Axes to rotation. There we go. So yeah, that's the Z, and we want this scale. Let's go now. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. There'll probably be more in the future as I'm sort of continuing to work on it. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. Now we're cooking. choices. Alright, let's see how these go.
Go back, Sam! Going to Mordor alone. Of course you are. And I'm coming with you!
Okay, so that needs to go there. Oh, this is too messy.
I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise.
Five, no. What's your background study-wise? I did my PhD in structural biology and biochemistry, which is what got me interested in making. Also using I was just using Primal a whole bunch, basically. 319 as well. Yeah, look, love structural biology. It's so cool that all this biochemistry, they're all just like molecules and proteins just doing all sorts of stuff in your cells all the time. Definitely the coolest science. Why, oh why? Yeah, very much so. You always, first course it allowed you, yeah, you can actually like, see what you're working on. And so much, yeah, in biology is like, oh, here's this blob or a circle on a PowerPoint slide, and this is what this PowerPoint is doing. This is what, and this protein does this, and this protein does this, and it's, yeah, you just have no idea what's really going on. And then you see structural biology, and you're like, oh, that makes sense, because like this protein, the DNA literally like fits in the hole, and then it does the thing because it physically moves it around. Like, it makes sense that this protein does this thing because it, you know, it has the DNA fits in here, and it's just intuitively, I think it all just makes a lot more sense. Why is my DNA still so ugly?
It's done. Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
Hello, love your molecular nodes. I use the DNA unwinding for undergrad project with optical tweezers. Cool, love optical tweezers. I was wondering, would we have more tutorials in the future? That is the plan. I'm currently working through updating and upgrading molecular nodes. And once that's done, then I can start making more documentation and more tutorials, because there's no point making them for if it's not going to be relevant for very long. But yes, there has been a bit of a gap, several years in tutorials, but I have been working on it the whole time and updating it. And yeah, hopefully there's some more coming. Cool. That's working. Okay, so what if instead... Okay, this is getting in the way. Pull this over here. Out there. Out there? No, not quite. Yeah, let's see how that goes. I believe your work is extremely important. Having these tools visualizations is great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always really glad that people find so much use out of them. So we need to oh, that's getting us close. Okay, I think this is working better. Okay, got that. Oh, I'm getting myself all turned around. Oh, fucking hell. need to approach this in a different way, I think. Because I am just endlessly rotating stuff, trying to get a magic rotation that helps. I mean, that looks fun, but that's very inaccurate. Ugh. Anyway, we fixed the rotation, the curve normal issue at least. Yeah, that fixes that. So the curve normal issue is fixed. And we just need to figure out how best to instance these bases. And I think it's gonna have to be we treat the backbone and the actual base separately, which is gonna make things much more complex. But it will mean we can rotate these bases. And that way we can get a straight line for the base, straight line for the backbone, and then orient the base differently, because currently trying to fix this is nightmarish. Hey Jordan, how we doing? Great to see you. Yeah, it's I think God, how long have I been fucking streaming for now? 3 hours, 3.25 hours. My brain is gone. Yeah, we gotta using the new simulation nodes to create some nice DNA simulations. And the new XBBD solver is so much nicer, and it creates such a nicer simulation. And so yeah, we've got this fun little simulation. And I spent a long time debugging some issues with curve normals to get this nice helix that is stable, because it was wigging out all over the place. But now the helix is stable, and now I'm trying to instance these bases nicer, and that's now the hard part. What if I change back over to
There's always been a Baggins living here under the hill.
yeah, so that just works so much better.
There always will be.
And we end up with a nice little DNA. That's the idea. But this, because I'm rebuilding it this way, I should be able to split the curves really nicely. It's like the backbone is going to be its own curve, which I can then simulate, hopefully. Yeah, it's very satisfying dragging around this empty and just watching it like do its thing. I really enjoy that it gets longer and shorter, and you got like all the sort of all the surplus DNA down here. And we got a little polymerase chugging along. Actually, I should turn off the... Yeah, and then we got a little polymerase moving along. I mean, it's currently not transcribing anything, but this is the idea, is that we can... that can be part of the simulation and do all sorts of stuff. Enjoy studying systems biology. See you later. Yeah, oh, Jordan, I just, for Node BPY, oh, I'm very satisfied with, we can now generate code from nodes. So if we start with this like node group, it generates this node BPY code. And so you can go from nodes to code, code to nodes, back and forth. And LLMs like this code a lot easier, like a lot more than regular BPY code. Yeah. So I just released that, I think today or yesterday. I don't know, it's been a long day. But that's 520.1 now has that. Yeah, way more LLM friendly because it's like token usage is much smaller, and also it just like I mean, it's readable by a human, which means it's much more readable by an LLM. You can so very happy with how that's turning out. I'm sort of developing it at the same time as I'm updating molecular nodes, because I'm developing it for a bunch of molecular nodes internals. But I just thought I'd flag that because it's really coming along, this little project. I'm really happy with it. I might have to give a talk at the Blender conference for it, because it's shaping up to be quite a nice little package. But I think I'm going to probably call it there for the day, because I have been streaming for almost 3.5 hours and I need to eat some snacks and have a coffee. So thanks everyone for hanging out. We've had loads of people swing by today, which has been great. And I think has been mostly productive. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to call it there for the day. Smash that bell, Jordan. Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'll see everyone later. How do I end this stream?